Now is South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds. Mr. Senator, the Speaker says he's bullish. Is the Senate going to back Trump and pass the big, beautiful bill despite Musk's objections? And maybe could there be more cuts which would encourage it to pass in the Senate?
The reconciliation process is moving forward. It's complicated in the Senate, but we're going to get it done. We can't afford to have a $2,400 per family increase in taxes on the American people. And that's what would happen if we don't pass this bill. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which came into effect in 2017, was a great boost for the economy, but it expires in 2026. And the major part of this legislation is making sure that American families don't have a huge tax increase because the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act would expire. So we're moving forward on that. The most important piece of this is build the economy, get it rolling, get that back in. Along with that, it's an opportunity to actually reduce any of the waste, fraud, and abuse that we find in the mandatory programs.
Sure.
Medicaid is under scrutiny.
Let me get back to this. Musk says, don't pass this bill. It's an abomination. Trump says, pass it. It's the centerpiece of my administration, the second term. So who's the Senate going to go with, Trump or Musk?
Look, we will pass a reconciliation bill. It's going to be different than what the House passed. We get the opportunity of having more time to look through a 1,000-page bill. We've got ideas as well, and ours will have to pass what we call the bird bath, which means it's got to be not policy-oriented, but budget-oriented. A lot of our colleagues, a lot of my colleagues here really want to see us make additional reductions in the expenditures for major mandatory programs. We have no intentions of hurting people. We do want to make the systems more efficient, and there's a lot of really good ideas with some really bright people making the recommendations. But once again, most important pieces on this, you cannot win the battle on the budget if you don't get the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act back into place so that we can build our way out of this, build the American economy, and make the quality of life better for the American people.
It's got to grow.
Most important part of the whole deal.
The most important thing, you got to grow the economy. Pass the bill.
Absolutely.
Mr. Senator, today, as you well know, is the 81st anniversary of D-Day, the day Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy. Listen to what Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had to say about investing in our military. Roll it.
We need warriors, and we need to make sure we're deterring our enemies. In order to do that, and this is the big key message because these are all budget hearings, is rebuild our military. We have the best military in the world, and we will soon have by far the most advanced and capable military in the world. We're leading the way by investing in our own defense, by ensuring that we're prepared for that next fight. We have those advanced technologies that the men who have to, arrive on a beach in the future have the best possible equipment in their hands.
Senator, you're on the Armed Services Committee. Hegseth is set to testify before you on June the 18th, I think it is. What's the big issue that you're going to get into?
We're going to talk about what our needs are to strategically protect the young men and women that wear the uniform of the United States. I spent 8 years as governor in South Dakota. We sent over 5,000 young men and women overseas to fight for our country. When we first got into this battle, we were unprepared. We didn't have the right type of body armor. We didn't have the right type of armored up vehicles, and it showed. We lost these young men and women. I promised myself I would never be a part of a budget process that cut our military and put our young men and women in harm's way. And that's exactly what we're going to be trying to do here is to increase the strategic weapons capability and to do it in such a fashion that adversaries out there take a second look at whether or not they should even dare to have a war with us. And if they do, we'll have the upper hand and we'll protect our young men and women who do put themselves in harm's way. That's what this is all about, is putting $150 billion more right now into those strategic capabilities that we need so that our young men and women have the upper hand. I never want to see them go into a fair fight.
Indeed.
I always want them to have the upper hand, and this is a major step forward. And along the way, I know there's people that talk about $100 billion as being way too much money and so forth, but if I can spend $100 billion now and save $1 trillion war by chasing the adversaries off, I'll do it every time.
Senator Mike Rounds, thanks very much for joining us today. D-Day, we appreciate you being here, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.